imagine that it's 2022 and Bitcoin is exploding and you just made so much money and you log into your Coinbase or Binance just to notice that your funds were stolen. How do you avoid that? Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name is HM and welcome to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about the topic that I don't really talk about and I don't see many people talking about, and that is how to properly secure and store your cryptos. I know many people jump to the conclusion saying that the safest way you can store your cryptos is with a cold storage wallet. However, with that comes a lot of downsides, even though a lot of plus sides, but just like any other method I'm going to talk about in this video, they all have pros and cons and they all are circumstantial, and it depends on what you prefer and what situation you're in. But keep in mind that there are levels when it comes to storing your cryptos and storing them securely. An article just came out recently talking about the Coinbase hack that may have happened between March and May, where more than 6,000 accounts were hacked, and that was due to lack of security or those people not properly securing their accounts. Now the blame is definitely on Coinbase to have this exploit in their system, but when you secure your account only with the SMS account recovery system or the one-time code that they send you on your phone, you're really setting yourself up for failure and you're not really securing your account. That's exactly how people were hacked. What happened was they were able to access their SMS in some way or another, and that way they were able to get a hold of their accounts and steal all their funds. Now, what you can do to avoid this is three things. There are pros and cons to each and every one, which I'm going to address in this one. Starting with number one, and that is if you want to store your cryptos on exchanges, store them on multiple exchanges. You can use Coinbase, KuCoin, Binance, or Binance US if you're in the US. You can use Gemini. Use multiple of them and spread your cryptos among them. So let's say Coinbase gets hacked and you still have all these three exchanges with your coins on them, then you only lose a portion of your portfolio. Or better yet, what you can do is if you want to use multiple exchanges, make sure you set up Google two-factor authentication or Authy, whatever the website uses, in order to secure your cryptos. What this does is it provides a new 6-digit code every 30 seconds. So let's say you want to log in now, it asks you for a code, and this code every single time renews and gives you a new code so that it's not set and not everyone can actually know what the code is. That's probably the best type of security you can get if you want to store your cryptos on an exchange. And keep in mind, guys, when you store your cryptos on an exchange, make sure you trust the exchange because you're essentially relying on the security of the exchange and how much money and time and effort they put into securing their website. For that reason, you might want to decide whether you rely on your own security by using the methods 2 and 3 that I'm going to talk about, or relying on the security and the millions of dollars that they have paid in order to secure their website. So you got to pick your poison with this. Also, another thing that can help secure your cryptos is actually owning an iPhone instead of an Android. Now, hear me out. I'm not a tech expert or anything, but what I noticed is since with iOS or iPhones, you can only download things from the App Store. So it's very limited where you can download things off Safari or Google Chrome where you can potentially download any viruses. So you don't want anyone breaching your phone, and it's easier for someone to breach your phone with Android because it's open source and basically you can download anything from anywhere, which increases the risk of having people hacking your phone. The upside of storing your cryptos on exchange is the ease of access. If you're someone who's trading, you probably don't want to store your cryptos on cold storage, which is the method I'm going to talk about. But if you're someone who doesn't want to trade, then it might suit you to have them on an external wallet. Now, the second method you can store your cryptos is if you're someone who prefers to have their own security, meaning that you want to store your cryptos somewhere where you have complete control over security. You can use Coinbase Wallet, you can use MetaMask, you can use Trust Wallet. All of those are decentralized, meaning that you own your private keys. When you store your cryptos on Binance or Coinbase, they own your private keys. And there's a saying that goes, not your private keys, not your coins, or not your cryptos. It's somewhat true, but again, you have to pick your poison. Do you want to rely on your own security, or do you want to rely on the exchange's millions of dollars and whole team of security? Storing cryptos on non-custodial wallets that you can put on your phone or on your laptop definitely have their upsides, such as you owning your private keys, meaning that no one can take a hold of your coins. You have them. However, if someone hacks your laptop or your phone, they can potentially steal your funds. Or another thing that can happen is that you can forget your password to your login and you have no one to talk to because no one knows what your password is, or your private keys, which is like a 24-seed phrase or 12, whatever the platform does that you're using, you can lose that as well. And this is also a disaster because you'll lose your funds completely. Now, I would recommend this method if you want to rely on your own security and you don't have a very big crypto portfolio overall. Because the third method is going to cost you some money upfront, but if you're someone who has, let's say, hundreds of thousands or let's say tens of thousands of dollars in crypto, it's probably worth it to invest in one of those. But if you want something that's free because you have a small portfolio of $500, $1,000, $2,000, it probably doesn't make sense for you to invest in something like the next one, and that is cold storage, or using something like a Trezor wallet or a Ledger wallet, Ledger Nano S, Ledger Nano X. There's plenty of those out there. This is probably the safest overall, but definitely it comes with some risks. So it's the safest because it's completely offline. It's not on your phone. It's not on your laptop, unless you make a mistake and put your private keys on your phone. But essentially, when you buy the Ledger Nano S or the Trezor, they give you a 24-word seed phrase where you have to manually write it down, like the good old days, write it down on a piece of paper and store this in your safe, in your drawer, whatever, somewhere where you know you're not going to lose it. With this way, literally no one has access to your funds but you. And with that comes risks that I'm going to talk about. So the risks that can potentially come from that is, one, God forbid, let's say you die and you have a fairly decent crypto portfolio, and let's say you didn't set up a plan where you didn't tell someone, let's say your spouse or your brother or your sister or your parents, about where that is, and then they can lose it forever and potentially all those cryptos are gone. The other risk that you have is the malware of the actual ledger. Some hacks happened previously where some people stole funds off of this by hacking it. I'm not sure how this happened, but another way it can happen is that this can stop working. But the beauty of this is that you can recover this by buying a new one and using the 24 seed phrase, because your cryptos aren't actually stored on the hardware. Your cryptos are stored on the blockchain, and the hardware or the Ledger Nano is just a key to open that up. It just stores your private keys. So that's another thing to consider. And the last one you want to consider is that if you're someone who wants to trade and buy and sell and stuff, it doesn't make sense for you to use a Ledger Nano, because you don't want to transfer to an exchange every single time you want to sell, because you actually want to have direct access, and if you want to sell right now, you want to be able to access it and sell it immediately. This is the advantage that exchanges have. But if you're someone who wants to hold Bitcoin or so for 20 years or 10 years or 5 years or 2 years, it probably makes sense for you to get one of those Ledger Nano wallets or the Trezor wallets, as I said, and you can just set it and forget it. Make sure you store it in a safe place and just forget about it and keep it and remove it whenever you need the funds or whenever you want to sell the funds. Also keep in mind that this costs about $100 to $300 or so to buy one of those devices. So in order to do that, I would say it doesn't make sense for you to do it unless you have a portfolio probably greater than $5,000, because it just doesn't make sense to pay $200, $300 if it's not that big of a portfolio. And with that being said, if you're interested in getting one of those Ledger, I have a link in the description. It's an affiliate link, so if you use it, I get some benefit, and it's at no additional cost to you guys. That's it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. We always talk about which crypto is going to go to the moon and how we're going to make the most money, but we never actually think about how we're going to save that money and how we're going to secure it and keep it somewhere where it's guaranteed to be there. So I hope this video helped. I hope I gave you some insight on how you can put your cryptos somewhere that's safe. And that's it. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe. Peace out.